Somehow he slept and awoke to stand there still waiting for someone to come in. I don't think Cadence knew that he floated, because all he could think was that he needed to strip his clothes off and throw them in a wash. No, better a fire, and shower at least 3 times. Lucier, the local drunk, barged into the door, and the handle that Cadence had been avoiding all night made contact with the back of his hand. Ugh. The green and red, which is now assumed to be mucus and blood, stuck to his hand like one of those little fish that live on sharks. What are they called? You know the fish. They suck on and eat the crumbs of what the sharks eat. That's how much it stuck to his hand. Lucier was too blitzed to notice Cadence and began peeing mostly everywhere. Cadence was so in shock that he couldn't move. Lucier washed his hands and grabbed an extra paper towel to open the door. Fuck! Why didn't Cadence think of that? And since when do bars actually stock their paper towels? I know, that was a weird story. This whole story is a weird story. But honestly, most of Cadence's life was just building and being alone. He was happy when he was working and creating things. He was alright when he was resting. The small bits of mania that crept in were usually drowned out with the rhythmic knocking of his hammer or the buzzing of the saw. It wasn't a terrible life, just a lonely one. How could he meet someone when everyone seemed to live inside their phones? He never had a phone after his old phone was destroyed. What would be the point? He never really talked to anyone. His customers called the house phone, and it was nice having a simple life not being attached to a phone. Why would he ruin that just to find companionship? No, he wouldn't. He channeled his unfulfilled lust into the pages of his father's old porno mags that were still left hidden in the secret spot he had hid them in. If they had contact, his dad might have asked them to be forwarded to the new address, but that's a lot weirder than someone using the same porno mags as their father. Psychology, right? So yeah, Cadence was really good at being alone and wasn't about to sacrifice his life to a smartphone. Not yet, anyways. Cadence was walking down the street one day and fell. He smacked down really hard. It was bad. Usually no one would notice, which is a shame. Please like this sentence and forward it to all your friends. Okay, thanks, bye. Today, though, someone did notice him. And not only that, it was a beautiful woman. Go figure. She crouched down to him. You alright, dude? Cadence, in a daze and bleeding from various places, assumed this couldn't be possibly happening and ran to the hospital. She snapped an Instagram of him looking back in bewilderment, and as he ran away, and added the caption, "When you ask him out for a second date." It was naturally liked, love, emoji face, and shared amongst many, even though really when you think about it, that's pretty disturbing. At the hospital, Cadence waited to be seen as he bled out, which is one of the more relatable moments in this story. An old lady asked if he was okay, and he said, "Probably not, but thanks for actually talking." They would have had an actual conversation, but she was rudely called in by the nurse. So he sat there and watched as people did their best to avoid eye contact and used their phones instead. Unbeknownst to Cadence, the lady's picture of him went viral and was on the news because you people are sick and your sense of humor is demented. Seriously, a bleeding person is funny? Go see a therapist. Cadence didn't notice, though. He was too busy being woozy from all the blood loss and was about to pass out when they finally called him in. He stood up to follow the nurse and blacked out.